3i Atlas, the latest images. We've got new images to share with you and new data sets. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me. How the heck are you? Beautiful day today. Like, I have to keep pinching myself to make sure I'm not in a dream. Like, it's November and it's 60 degrees, blue skies. I hiked up to almost 12,000 feet twice this week, actually, and amazing weather. So, but anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Just want to say that beautiful weather out here in Southern Colorado. But last I checked, it was full. So if you're thinking about moving out here, I don't know. I mean, there's a whole lot of people out here. But anyway, let's get into this and just having a little bit of fun. I don't know if you've ever been to Wolf Creek Pass or not, but the Continental Divide, had a chance to go out there today with my friend Diamond, and the views are just majestic and forever. And tonight is the full beaver moon. Yeah, it's exciting. The skies are lit up. We've got a CME heading our way tomorrow. And these new images are actually basically, so the James Webb Telescope captured images where we don't really see a tell on this object. Well, these new images there's no tell. There's no observable tell. So very weird. And two new papers hot off the press from Professor Loeb. And if you haven't got your Gladiator Barley and Boomer Boost yet, I don't know what the heck you're waiting for. I've been bragging about this stuff for years. The stuff is amazing. Use the code REX20, get 20% off. Do auto ship, then you'll get an additional discount. You can stack up the discounts. And I take this stuff daily unless I'm out and I order more. So get some. I also did a 42-mile bike ride on Sunday, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, yeah, quick shameless plug. And let's get into this right now, shall we? Where are we going? Well, that's the question, right? Yeah, I have to turn that off. Okay, here we go. I was all professional until I wasn't. So this is from Professor Loeb, his Medium page. No clear cometary tell and post-perihelion images of 3i Atlas. And this image, and we're actually going to look at some other comets in the sky right now that look like your typical comet. We've got some great images directly from the observatory in Spain, and these are really good images. So this one right here, what you're looking at is a post-perihelion image of the interstellar object, 3i Atlas. This was taken today. So this was taken today by the Naves Observatory in Spain, showing a fuzzy ball of light. The sunward direction is towards the bottom left corner, with the arrow on the left pointing in the anti-sun direction. So no obvious cometary tell is seen. Look at that. Looks like the cosmic egg that we've been seeing with the James Webb images. And why haven't we seen the high-rise images yet? Well, it's probably just a political thing, because Congresswoman with the last name of Luna talked to somebody from NASA. Remind me to share that tweet with you, or that X with you, that post. But this is the image from today. So let's talk about the recent article. Two new images of 3i Atlas were released from the Naves Observatory in Spain and the Virtual Telescope Project. I'm actually going to take you directly to the page. This is directly from the observatory. I'm so glad I was able to find this link from Professor Loeb's page, because we've got other images from different comets that have a completely different look than 3i Atlas does. So this is today 3i Atlas images. And let's go into the paper and talk a little bit about the paper that was just written by Professor Loeb. So November 5th, two new images of 3i Atlas were released from the Naves Observatory in Spain and the Virtual Telescope Project, showing the object as a fuzzy blob of light without a clear comet-style tell. The coma, the fuzzy cloud around the object in these images, appears very similar in morphology to what we saw via Hubble Space Telescope, July 21st. This lack of tell is surprising because the object shows a non-gravitational acceleration. Its motion doesn't match gravity alone, as reported by the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory specifically. Using momentum conservation reasoning, Professor Loeb estimates that if the acceleration is driven by comet-style mass loss, like gas and dust ejection, then the object must have lost 13% of its mass during perihelion passage. But given that heavy mass loss in a comet normally produces a clear dust and gas tail pushed away by solar radiation, are you following me? Pressure and solar wind, the absence of a tail in these post-perihelion images challenges a normal comet interpretation. Loeb then reiterates a list of anomalies for 3I Atlas, such as a retrograde trajectory aligned within 5 degrees of the planetary ecliptic, very low probability of 0.2%. During July and August, it showed a sun-facing jet, which is referred to as an anti-tail, unusual for typical comets. However, the electric universe cosmology, I think, describes that pretty well. Its nucleus mass is estimated to be 1,000 times that of 2I Borisov and 1,000,000 times bigger than Oumuamua, which was the first interstellar object that we observed. Borisov was the second. 3I Atlas is the third. Now, remember, that doesn't mean this is the third interstellar object that's ever entered our solar system. This is just the third one that we've been able to observe. And with new technologies, we're going to see a lot more of these in the very near future, more and more. So the probability of the nucleus mass being being larger than Borisov and Oumuamua, yet it's traveling at twice the speed, much faster. That scenario is a 0.1% chance. Its arrival timing, close to Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and hidden at perihelion, aligns with very low odds of 0.005%. Its gas plume has much more nickel than iron, industrial type nickel alloys, and extremely high nickel carbon ratio, orders of magnitude above any known comet, and that probability is less than 1%. Its gas plume has only 4% water by mass, and water is usually one of the major components for comets. It exhibits extreme negative polarization, optical property not seen previously for known comets, with a less than 1% likelihood, and its incoming direction is within 9 degrees of the famous WOW signal direction. The probability of that is 0.6%. Now, the ninth anomaly of this object is it's near perihelion. When it was near perihelion, it brightened faster than any known comet and was bluer than the sun. That can be explained pretty well with the electric universe cosmology also, from what I understand, and it shows non-gravitational acceleration, as noted above, which would also require massive mass loss. Yet the post-perihelion images do not show the expected massive coma and tail. In summary, the absence of a clear tail, despite strong signs of non-gravitational acceleration and heavy mass loss implied, raises the question, where's the beef? Whether 3I Atlas is behaving like a normal comet or whether an alternative explanation may be required, which absolutely it does. Pretty wild. Now, let's compare this to other comets. So let's look at A2025 A1. This looks like space worms. Let's go to this one. 2025 B1. Got more. These aren't quite as wormy. Here's Swan. Look at that bad boy. That's got a little bit of a egg. Not quite as perfect of an egg, but that's got a tail. Clearly see the tail on that bad boy. I don't know what that is. Here's the object. Here's the observatory. Look at that bad boy. Swan 25F. All right, so this is Swan 25F that we're looking at right here. Let's go back. Let's look at K1 Atlas. Check out K1 Atlas. Definitely see the tail. This bad boy is moving. And then here's 3I Atlas right here. So this is 3I Atlas. These images were taken earlier today. There's no tail on that thing. Okay, so here's my theory of 3i Atlas. I think 3i Atlas is remnants of a planet. I think a planet got blown to smithereens and knocked that sucker just 130,000 miles an hour out into the universe. So I think we're looking at remnants of a planet that got obliterated. I mean, the asteroid belt's a prime example of a planet that was obliterated. However, this thing could be from 7 billion years times 130,000 miles an hour, whatever the math is on that. This could be very, very old. So if this is, and it's not Project Bluebeam, I'm reading all these people saying it's Project Bluebeam. Do you know how many different observatories there are that are observing this object and where they've observed it from and how long they've been tracking it? So by you saying this is Project Bluebeam, they've either got to come up with some type of holographic technology that they've launched into deep space. So they've got some spaceship with a hologram that it's projecting the size of Manhattan, or else they figured out a way to hack into all these observatories and somehow change the data. But you know what? Pretty soon you're going to be able to observe this too if you've got a telescope. I've got an 8-inch telescope. It's a Meade. It's got dual mounts, so I can hook a camera up to it, and it will be really secure. And if somebody wants to help me get this thing going and show me how to track it, it's all computerized, and let's go. Let's do it. We'll live stream it with the world. But there is no way. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Connie, good to see you. It's been a while. I don't see you on Facebook anymore. I hope you're well. Are you still in Washington? You know, Washington State, it's amazing. It's like one of the few states you could be happy and depressed at the same time because it's so beautiful out there. But if you're in the Pacific Northwest, it's always raining and overcast. And like, anyway, that's a whole other podcast. But there's no way that this thing is Project Bluebeam. Now, the 33 billion tons of nickel, I find that interesting. Yeah, the numbers, the numerology, the 33 billion tons of nickel, and it's 33 gigawatts. And we're going to write a 33-page essay on it, or 33-page white paper on it. So I get it. And there's 338 people in the chat right now, so we've got 33 right there. We're totally in the zone. Look at these images of 3i Atlas, though. This is great. I'm glad to see some new images, and it's interesting how it's very similar to the James Webb stuff that we saw, where the James Webb was showing that there was really no visible tail. But the fact that this thing has gone around the sun, so basically what Professor Loeb is saying is like this thing has gone around the sun, and with the change in trajectory and with signs of non-gravitational acceleration, this thing should have lost approximately 13% of its mass. Now that mass needs to go somewhere. And so the mass would typically be like some type of coma, right? You would have this dust cloud that would go around the object. And then the fact that it's, obviously moved. So the tail is going to be the opposite direction of the sun because of the cosmic wind, the solar radiation. It's going to be pushing it away from the sun. So to see a comet tail towards the sun, which is referred to as an anti-tail, in a traditional cosmology of comets, you can't explain it. In the electric universe cosmology, you can absolutely explain it. And the core of most planets are most likely rock or nickel or something along those lines. So if this thing was blown up from an ancient cataclysm where a massive planetary body smashed into another planet, knocked it out at 130,000 miles an hour. But, that doesn't completely explain it to me either. Like, I'm not convinced that this is just a remnants of a planet. I'm not convinced that it's just a rock. It might be. I think, I'm more, if you convince, like if you show me evidence that it's a spaceship, I won't be surprised. If you show me, well, I actually would be a little bit surprised, but if you show me evidence either way, I'm like, okay, absolutely. Let's go where the data takes us. It's fun to think of it being a spaceship. Absolutely. That's really cool. It's fun to think that there could be some civilization that's like built itself some type of secure living quarters inside of this thing so that it can travel and move it around and be camouflaged and go explore new planets and stuff like that. I mean, all that stuff's a lot of fun to think about, and we got to definitely put it on the table. We just got to go where the data takes us. And I think that right now, my theory is it's remnants of an ancient planet that just got blown to smithereens. But I don't know. Need more input, Johnny 5. Need more input. And we're getting input right here. Pretty cool. So here's all the data, the equipment, the F9 reflector. I mean, this is more than we've gotten anywhere else. This is directly from the observatory in Spain. Híjole, señor. Got a big contrail behind it. I'm joking. It's a chemi, man. Very, very cool. All right, so what else we got? Got more data to share with you. So let's talk a little bit about the paper that was written today by Professor Loeb, Post-perihelion data on 3i Atlas. I want to bring up some information because this was a good point and it made a lot of sense. So where are my notes? Here we go. If you'd like, I can go back to, let's go back to the images of the comet, though. We'll put it right here, or whatever this thing is. It's interstellar, we know that, and it's far out, man. It's far out. Okay, so this is some interesting points that Professor Loeb had mentioned in his paper, Post-perihelion data on 3i Atlas. New data released from the Minor Planet Center and JPL covering the period from October 31st to November 4th, shortly after 3i Atlas's perihelion, October 29th. The green band brightness, centered at 0.464 wavelength, appears to have increased by a factor of about 5 compared to earlier data, which is October 5th through the 8th. The updated non-gravitational acceleration values parameterized for 1 astronomical unit, which is 93 million miles. If you didn't know that, but you probably did. So it had a radial away from the sun, about 1.1 times 10 to the 6th power astronomical units a day squared. And then the transverse relative to sun direction of 3.7 times 10 to the 7th power astronomical units day squared. Do the math, real simple. It'll just take you a second. The reduction in the non-gravitational acceleration is about a third lower than earlier value, is within uncertainties. So the net detection is at 3.7, somewhat robust. Using simple kinematics, perihelion distance of 203 million kilometers, which is 1.38 astronomical units, and perihelion speed of 68 kilometers a second, the perihelion passage time, about 1 month. Combining time and ejection speed, assumed 300 meters per second, typically for comet gas, not smart gas, but comet gas, and the measured acceleration, Loeb calculates a mass fraction lost of 13%. So based upon the speed, the trajectory, and all the math, he's saying this thing should have lost about 13%. If 3i Atlas is a natural comet, it should be surrounded by a very large cloud of dust after perihelion, and it's not. It should be far larger than what preceded perihelion. So think about that. That's very interesting. So this thing should actually, the fact that it didn't have a comet tail before, and it still doesn't, where's the beef? Where is the beef? It should be surrounded by a very large cloud of gas, aka coma, after perihelion, and the same anomalies that I shared with you earlier. I've already gone over that. So if you're just joining us, you can go back and we went over about 10 different anomalies. Now, the spectroscopic observations of the potential massive coma by the James Webb Space Telescope, which is scheduled in December, is also going to help reveal its interior composition. If the coma is not massive as predicted, then the natural comet interpretation will continue to be challenged. Wow, pretty cool. So I'm excited. Still might be aliens, maybe. Zorg might be, Zorg's Zorg misses his family. You know, Zorg wants to hang out with some Martians and some space aliens. So it'd be cool. You know, they could meet up. Maybe he could take him out. He could show him a few cool places, take him on a couple hikes. And then maybe they'll decide they don't want to, you know, obliterate the planet like they did Mars, according to this other plasma physicist. So, no, but here's my favorite. Did you hear about the intelligence? Now, this is obviously bull crap. But there's this conspiracy going around on the net that this intelligence officer did a remote viewing on 3i Atlas, and he remote viewed 5 million reptoids, and they were getting I mean, it's like, dude, let's just come up with the most extreme shit, and then we'll post it, and then somebody's going to believe it, right? Well, not here at Leak Project. We go where the data takes us, and I don't see any data that suggests there's really 5 million reptoids on 3i Atlas. But you can't prove to me that it isn't yet. So much fun. So much fun. I'll bet the reptoids are cool. They're probably nice. They're probably vegetarian, you know, like they're genetically modified iguanas, you know. They just want lettuce. They just want natural. They don't want to eat meat like a Komodo dragon. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Amanda. Amanda says, Rex, so many people are channeling and remote viewing this thing. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. It is absolutely. But hey, I mean, I'm cool. I'd hang out with the reptoid if it would, you know, I mean, unless it was going to try and eat me, then I wouldn't do it. But like, how do I know it's not totally, it might be totally cool to hang out with. I could take it to some dispensaries in Colorado. I'd be like, hey, check this out. That'll mellow you out. You might get the munchies after, but you're going to love it out here. Yeah, actually, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up. Tailless MCC. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's talk about that. Let's get into that real quick, shall we? When is Juice going to 3i Atlas? The European Space Agency's Juice. It's juicy. Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer mission is observing the interstellar object between November 2nd. That's like right now. That's right now. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes, it's going to be observing this object until the 25th. Where's the beef? Show us the data. The European Space Agency is not on strike. You know, I mean, they're not shut down like NASA. NASA's not showing us the high-rise images because they're political. And thank you for bringing this up because that's just one thing I wanted. Okay, Congresswoman Luna. I remember her last name's Luna. Luna and NASA talk. Okay. Yes, Anna Paulina Luna, Republican in Florida, Congresswoman, recently led a hearing on UAP transparency through a House Federal Secrets Task Force, emphasizing the need for public trust through disclosure. She's also retired Air Force, aim high. While the hearing involved discussions about UAPs, which are a NASA topic, the provided information is not blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is what I want. This is what I was looking for. Yep. Boom. U.S. representative calls on NASA to share unreleased pics of 3i Atlas as comet color shifts for the third time. The Florida representative shared an ex post of her letter, which was addressed to acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy. Yeah, we looked at this yesterday. I thought there was a new one though, where she said that she talked to him and he's going to release it as soon as the government opens back up. Let's go take a look at what she has to say. America! Oh yeah! Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Just had a good conversation with NASA regarding 3i Atlas. As soon as the government reopens, they'll be releasing images and data. Unfortunately, due to bureaucratic reasons, they cannot until then. Dr. Avi Loeb from the Galileo Project at Harvard was correct in his early analysis, where he said that, it probably is an extraterrestrial intervention. It's terrestrial stupidity. Why they haven't released the images yet? Where's the beef? NASA has also noted this. I'm sure this will be one of many interstellar objects that we will be able to track now that technology has advanced. Well, nice job, Representative Anna Polina Luna. Thank you for taking care of that for us. I can't wait to see that. But what about now? What about the juice? Show us the juice. Give us some juice. If I'm upsetting you because I'm not being real serious, I apologize. I can only be so serious for so long, and then I have to do my Beavis and Butthead impersonation, have a little bit of Tourette's. I'm working on it. I'm a lot better than I used to be. But this is what we should be expecting. This is what we should be expecting. JUICE will use its cameras, near-infrared imaging instrument, UV spectrometer, sub-millimeter instruments, and a neutral atom imaging sensor for your pleasure. Observation scientists anticipate capturing high-quality data of 3I Atlas when it is highly active with a bright halo and a long tail. But there is no tail. There's no tail. You want some cosmic tail? You're not going to get it with 3I Atlas. You're going to have to hook up with one of those other asteroids. Want some good asteroid? Who doesn't? Due to its proximity to the sun. Oh my gosh, man. Zorg is in my mind. He's like 6G in me. Forget the 5G. He's got the 6G. He's busting out terahertz waves. The data collected during this period will be transmitted back to Earth and is expected to be available in... so it's not even going to be available until February because of the low data rate from the JUICE's current position. Well, that juice doesn't have much juice. I'm disappointed. Something called JUICE should be faster than 3 months from now. Of course. Show us the juice. No, you're going to have to wait. We're going to show you artist renditions of a flying space turd and say it's, we're going to call it a Muamua. Now give us another billion. It's expensive to work in space with pixels and stuff, Oh, yeah, there's also watch for a geomagnetic storm tomorrow and the next day, a coronal mass ejection, which is an eruption of solar material and magnetic fields. When they arrive at Earth, a geomagnetic storm can result. Watches at this level are infrequent, but not uncommon. The CME is anticipated to reach and impact Earth with elevated geomagnetic response and dependent upon the orientation of the embedded magnetic field. The potential exists for strong storm levels. Limited minor effects to some technological infrastructure possible, but usually mitigatable. The aurora may become visible over many of the northern states and some of the lower Midwest to Oregon. The general public should consider monitoring our web pages for the latest information and updates. Currently, 3I Atlas is located right there. It's on its way to Jupiter. It's on its way to Jupiter. Passed Mars earlier this month, got close to Venus, and now it's en route to Jupiter. So I think it's going to get in Jupiter. Let's see, February or March? Yeah, late March, actually mid-March, right around, 15th, the 16th, the 17th, 18th, the 19th. There we go. And then it's scooting out of here. Stopping by to say hello, and it is boogieing out of town. If you're just joining us, this is directly from an observatory in Spain, and you are looking at C2025 K1. Notice clearly a tail visible from this. Let's go look at R2 Swan and R2D2. Well, we can at least look at R2 Swan for now. You've got that egg to it, the cosmic egg. So this is C2025R2. 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 Swan. Okay. Yeah. Closest approach to Earth, October 20th, visible with binoculars in the southwestern sky. Nice. What else we got? Q3. This one right here is Atlas. This is actually 3i Atlas. So boom, you can see Interstellar, 3i. This is in Spanish. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and jump on over to our Rumble page if you get a chance. We're doing live streams on Rumble. Make sure you hit the bell for all notifications here on YouTube. Thank you for watching here on YouTube, and jump on over to our Rumble page if you want to see some of our field trips and long format interviews. We've got interviews that go back like 10 years on leakproject.com and our Patreon page. And we're uploading a lot of field trips like the continental divide that I just got back from today. That was awesome. What a great experience. So, and then there's a place out here called Blackhead Peak, which is about 12,000 feet elevation. That was a pretty intense hike. Did that on Monday. Did that Monday. So yeah. All right, everybody. Be the change you want to see. Thank you.